In case you miss it, here's a Sports Animal Rewind.
Let's bring in Oak Ridge's own Scott Stallings, who's going to play in the U.S. Open and is playing really, really well right now. Scott, I would ask you how you are doing, Vince and Jesse, but I think you're doing pretty well, right?
I'm doing all right, guys.
Hey, great to talk to you as always, Scott. So, real quick, take us back to this past weekend in Memphis. Actually, let's go back the week before and how well you played. You played well really the last 2 weeks. Why do you think that is?
I think, I had my coach, Brad Rose, and sports psychologist Joe Whitney go down to Dallas with me, and they did a really good job of just trying to challenge me to, do a better job of trying to take ownership of my game. And Brad just kept telling me, he said, man, you're the one that needs to be driving the bus. You need to get in the front seat instead of, kind of sitting back and hoping everyone will kind of drag you along. And that kind of resonated with me a little bit. And, I did the best thing I possibly could to go out there and play like I know I can play. And that's kind of the attitude I've, hopefully take for the rest of the year.
As far as from a golf swing standpoint, I remember texting with you 4 or 5 weeks ago, and you tell me, I feel like I'm really close. What do you think? What did you mean by that golf swing wise? What were you working on, and what were you hoping to kind of click for you? I
don't know. It's just consistency. Having a one-way miss and knowing that when you hit a bad shot, you're going to miss it in one certain place. And when you have an unpredictable miss, it kind of creates unpredictable golf. And that's something that, we need to try to eliminate, especially when you're playing on tour.
Scott, you're 28 now. You've played a lot of golf. I'm not trying to make you feel old or anything, but the ebb and flow of professional golf, the ups and downs, you experienced that just 2 days ago, tying for fourth at the Memorial. The next day, kind of a heartbreaking finish in the 36-hole U.S. Open sectional qualifier at Colonial in Memphis. How hard is it to kind of temper your emotions, and because you still knew that you maybe had a chance to get in as an alternate? How hard was it to kind of keep your emotions under control Monday night, given that you've been through, like I said, so many years of up and downs in golf?
That's weird. Just in the simple fact of, I played so good to get myself in a position to get in the playoffs, and then all of a sudden you catch a bad mud ball and hit a bad shot and it goes in the water, and next thing you know, it's like, oh, well, that's over. And I felt pretty good about my opportunity to get in, just knowing that, I knew the first site was either coming from Columbus or Memphis. And, fortunately enough for me, they decided on Memphis getting the number one spot, and that worked out awesome. And I got a phone call last night after the USG had the meeting as far as how they set it up. And, I honestly thought it was a joke at first. And I said, which one of my buddies put you up to this? And the guy told me I need to find some new friends. And, from there on, he just told me about the tournament, and went on from there.
You've played in the Masters in 2012. You played in 2 PGA championships. Just talk about what the U.S. Open means to you, though.
The U.S. Open is special, but it's also special being at Marion. That was my first kind of glimpse into championship golf. Especially in America. I was caddying for my good buddy Braxton Hunter and in the USAM, and that was my first instance of kind of seeing what golf at a really high level was like, and it's pretty cool to now go back there as a PGA Tour member, being able to play the Open there.
I log on to PGAtour.com today. They have their expert picks. A lot of people looking at you at St. Jude Classic down there in Memphis. Just talk about what you like about that course, and if it suits your eye, you think you can maybe contend there this week.
I do. It's a golf course that I've played a lot. I got a lot of family down here in Memphis, and the golf course I feel very comfortable with. But, man, any opportunity to support golf in the state of Tennessee is a major priority for myself, and as I'm sure anybody that plays on tour trying to support golf in their home state. And it's a huge priority for me, especially with some of the junior golf stuff myself and Snedeker and a couple other guys from Tennessee Golf Association are doing. And, the golf course is fantastic. The event's great. And it's nice to be in Tennessee, and the Southern hospitality is second to none.
Yeah. You got a special guy on the bag this week, kind of fill everybody in. Who's making the loop for you?
Yeah, I'm in the midst of, some caddy transition. I guess that'd be the best way to describe it at the moment. And I had a good buddy of mine, Long. We've grown up together, playing golf, and he's a really, really good friend of mine. And, in the midst of the transition, I haven't really, decided on which direction I'm going. And I said, hey man, would you mind coming out for a week or two and trying to help me out a little bit? And he said, yeah, man, do I have to do that U.S. Open qualifier? I said, absolutely. I said, but if I get in, I'll take you. And so, it worked out great, and he still didn't believe I was going to take him, and it worked out awesome. He's a great player, and is definitely a welcome asset on my bag, even though it's only going to be for a couple weeks.
Of course, Brent Long is from Carthage, Tennessee. He's on Golf Channel's recent Big Break show down in Mexico. Have you got a chance to watch him at all?
No, him in person is good enough.
Back to last week at the Memorial, you had Steve Stricker's caddy on your bag, Jimmy Johnson, and Steve Stricker, as everybody knows, is kind of playing a limited schedule now. Just how cool was it to have Jimmy on the bag and maybe picking up some experience from some of his experiences?
It's incredible, man. Anytime you have a guy with that much experience on the bag and you don't learn anything, you basically missed an incredible opportunity. And so basically we got there, and I told Jimmy the first day, I said, I want to learn everything I possibly can from you in as limited amount of time as we have. And I said, nothing's off limits. I said, I want a full evaluation when we're done. And as far as things you think I need to do to get better, and things you think I'm bad at, things you think I'm good at, and so on and so forth. And he was brutally honest at times, but he was also very, very encouraging through the whole entire week. I made a lot of birdies and made a lot of bogeys, but, we decided from the get-go that, I told him from the beginning I loved the golf course and I wanted to have the opportunity to win. He said, well, in order to have an opportunity to win, we're going to have to be aggressive. And so I knew that mindset going into it. We were going to be aggressive, and we knew that, when I made bogeys, I wasn't surprised, but when I made a lot of birdies, we were, that was what we were trying to get ourselves in position for.
Did you feel like the Memorial served as kind of a good tune-up for a U.S. Open? Because, he was playing pretty tough that week. You're seeing a lot of doubles and triples and, some thick rough. Did you feel like that was a good tune-up for U.S. Open?
I don't know that. It was just hard. It was one of those deals where, there's no real good miss, and, you had to be really smart as far as, what times you're going to try to, be aggressive, and what times you're going to try to, hit away from it. And understand that when you do hit away from it, you're kind of bringing a whole new set of challenges on as well.
Scott, we really appreciate you coming on with us. Congrats on your recent success and getting into the U.S. Open, and really appreciate the time as always.
All right, man. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Scott. That is Scott Stallings. You can follow him on Twitter @StallingsGolf.